Hi, welcome to my channel. In here it's all about knitting, yarn and bits of daily life. If you're into that, grab your knitting or crochet, your favorite beverage, and let's get started. By the way, my name is Nadia. I live in Denmark and I'm a knitter. I am helping a friend to finish her second sock. Her hand started hurting in this rainbow yarn. I don't know where it's from. I got the second sock right at the heel. The first sock she knitted all by herself. She used a time glass heel, I think it's called. I am using a shed wrap heel. Here you see the 2 finished socks, and I had yarn left over for a new sock. My husband has tidied up the basement because a few weekends ago we had guests in the guest room, so everything is nice and tidy in the hallway and in the guest room. Oh, my cat is taking a little nap. But everything is not tidy and clean in my creative space. So today is Sunday and my plan is to do something about this mess. Everywhere you look is kind of messy. I will take you along. Let's start tidying up. We need those boxes, but firstly we need to clean them up, and secondly I will dry them in the sun and then bring them to my basement, my creative space, and store my finished knitting projects in them, because we don't like moth. They are clean, only with water of course, but it was only dust and leaves dried in and stuff like that. So now I will let the sun do its job, and while the sun is doing its job, I will take a look at my creative space. I can see I already have 2 boxes in here. Well, let me have a look at that. I also brought some things from upstairs we need to sort out. But yeah, I will get to this beautiful mess and return when I'm done, or maybe when I'm almost done. This is the desk in all its beauty. Here's some random stuff in front of my cabinet. In the cabinet, it's all clean and tidy. No mess in there. In the bag here, trash. Trash, yarn trash. Project bags. I don't know if this needs cleaning, but well, bags and stuff on the floor. Besides the pillow stuffing. This was meant for donating or something like that. In here I have a lot of patterns printed out. This is just empty boxes, blocking mats. And then this chair is filled up with knitted items and new yarn purchases. I will show them later on. But yeah, quite a messy chair, right? My little table also filled up with stuff. What was I thinking? What went wrong? It's just piling up in here. I have 2 chairs in my creative space here, and the other chair is also filled up with not project bags, but yeah, little baskets with yarn. I will start now to clean up my creative mess. I finished cleaning up the room except for my desk, but now I will just show you some of my latest yarn hauls, yarn acquisitions, because yeah, I need to put them away and you haven't seen them. So while I was in Turkey on vacation, one of the Danish web shops had a sale on signature 4-ply from West Yorkshire Spinners. So I bought quite a few skeins or balls of yarn. I will show you one at the time and tell you the color. It's sock yarn made out of BFL blue-faced Leicester and 25% nylon. This beautiful blue yarn, blue sock yarn, is called Cobalt. It's the color name 1006. And actually I thought about pairing it with this amber color in a stripy sock. And I mean to use all of these signature 4-ply for socks. But yeah, amber 1004. That was the 2 solid colors I got. And then I needed to purchase this one because I saw a little picture on the website where it was knitted up in a beautiful striping pattern. It's from the Birds collection and it's called Starling 1169 maybe. The color name is Starling. Also sock yarn, blue-faced Leicester. Beautiful color. And this, I think it's also from the Bird collection. I can't remember what a J is in Danish, but as I speak English, it doesn't matter. It's 1167 J. Again, a patterning sock yarn. I think maybe kind of stripes, very multicolor. And this one I think was from the Winter collection and it's called Winter Icicle. Maybe it's color 1765. Winter Icicle. Also a stripy pattern. So yeah, 5 balls of 100 grams signature 4-ply sock yarn. This is where I bought it, the Danish web shop Ultotten, and she had a sale, and I think it's because she is closing down her web shop. My mother told me so, because she was the one buying it for me as I was in Turkey, and she could not make the payment work, so she wrote her an email and got the reply that she was closing down, and unfortunately the payment system on the website has closed down too early. Then I also have been on a yarn crawl in Aarhus, and I have bought 2 skeins of Avetta in these 2 colors, also meant for striping. And actually, can you tell a theme? Blue and some orange brownie color. I must like that at the moment. But yeah, it's from Avetta, it's from Filcolana, and it is a Avetta classic. Also a sock yarn, but this one is 80-20. Yeah, 80% wool, 20% nylon. Stripy socks. I love stripy socks. Then I saw an Instagram post. Sorry if this is crinkling. Then I saw an Instagram post from another Danish shop called Gründl, and they had 100 grams of merino and angora mixed together, so on a very good sale. It's 100 gram. I can't remember how many meters it's running, for 100 Danish kroners. So I bought 300 grams and I received this giant cake of, I think the skeins are just all 3 kind of hanging together. This one is going to be knitted together if I can get the right gauge with this beautiful mohair. And you have already seen a little clip of me wanting to knit the Knitting for Olive. It's not a sweatshirt. So yeah, I will cake one of each up and make a swatch. And I hope I will get the 20 stitches. Yeah, my birthday is coming up. And my husband has asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I told him, well, you can go look at my wish list. And he replied, it's a boring wish list, Nadja. Okay. Nevertheless, it's my wishes. But then I told him, well, if you think it's a boring wish list I have, then I would like an angora rabbit, please. So I can cut the hair off and learn to spin yarn. It's soft, this one, but not as soft as I expected. But I can't remember how much angora and how much merino. I'll get back to that and write it on the screen. I think it's going more than 400 meters per 100 grams, but I think it will floof up. So yeah, I'm looking forward to caking this one up and knitting a swatch. And to get the free freight at Gründl, I happened to buy a lot of their Highlands wool. It must be directly translated into Highland wool. So, and I love blue. If you didn't know, now you do. So I found myself these beautiful blue colors. I thought so. 7 of them in 50-gram cakes. And then I had enough yarn in my basket to receive free freight cost. I don't know what this is going to be. but I know it's gonna be something. Maybe it's gonna go into a blanket, or maybe I'll knit a shawl or a sweater. I don't know, but I could use it in my stash and yeah, get inspired maybe to knit something. Again, I can't remember how many meters or yardage. I can write it on the screen, and if you have any good suggestions, please let me know. Also, if you have good suggestions with this one together with another strand of yarn. So yeah, now I have shown you my yarn purchases, most recent, and I can put them away because I'm in a tidying up kind of mood. But a little while ago I was with my mother-in-law attending an open yarn day at my local yarn shop, and I happened to purchase this. Ooh, all of these balls are the same in 2 different colors. I will show you the yarn in a moment. I have a little more black than yellow, and it's called Arezzo. 50-gram ball, and it's going approximately 150 meters in this, yeah, buttery soft yellow, I would call it. And it's a mix yarn. Let me see here. It's 29% linen, 37% cotton, and 34% bamboo. So it's a summer yarn, Arezzo Lin, and it's from the Danish brand Hjertegarn. Now, the other day I watched a podcast, and she has knitted herself Look at My Holes t-shirt. So my plan is to look at my holes pattern and see if I have enough of the black yarn to knit that. I don't know, and I don't know if the yarn is at all perfect for the gauge. I have 6 balls, 50-gram balls, 6 times 150 meters. If it's not enough, I will mix in the yellow, and if the yarn is not at all good for that pattern, I will find another pattern. At the same store, I got my hands on a Kathmandu yarn from Civic because it was just the softest, or not was, it is just the softest. I got 2 skeins, 2 balls of each, and that is going to be 2 different Sophie scarves. This is a yak bamboo blend. Let me see if I can see how it is blended. It's 19% yak, 37% bamboo, 36% merino wool, and 8% polyamide. 25-gram ball is going 125 meters. So soft. It will be a beautiful Sophie scarf. It's this army foresty green and this very, very deep dark blue. I love both colors. And then I also bought 2 skeins of this shiny from Lana Grossa, shiny Lala Berlin, in a purple shiny glittery color. I have 1 or 2 balls in my yarn stash, and I have some mustardy yellow Sandnes Kos yarn, and I bought the pattern from Laura Penrose Knits. Is it called the Russell scarf? Her Formula 1 scarf. knitted in drops air, I think, or some kind of yarn like drops air, and thought this purple would be perfect together with the mustardy yellow, and I needed these two to complete the scarf with stash yarn. And actually I also bought the little basket, or purse if you might call it that, to keep my yarn in, or to bring my yarn when I'm going out of the house knitting. So yeah, now you have seen all of my latest yarn purchases. Some would call it irresponsible yarn purchases. I just couldn't resist it. I love yarn. I love collecting yarn. I love having the possibility to go in my yarn stash and choose yarn for a pattern I would like to knit. I also love to buy yarn specific for a project, but yeah, this was all on a sale. The sock yarn I can always use. I love knitting socks. We are not going to talk about how much sock yarn I actually have and how many feet we are in this house and how many socks I can actually knit with my sock yarn stash, because knitting is one hobby and buying yarn or collecting yarn is another hobby. So now I will cake up one of this and this one, and then I will knit myself a beautiful swatch. Oops. And hope it will meet my gauge demands on the It's Not a Sweatshirt pattern. That was it from my tidying up. Now I have done enough tidying up for today. I will relax the rest of the day, go outside, enjoy the sunshine. We are having the most beautiful weather here in Denmark at the moment. I think we are looking into another nice week next week. So yeah, I love the sun, so that's just great. None of these gauge swatches is actually on gauge. The one on the right is on a 4.5 millimeter needle, and the one on the left is on a 4.0 millimeter needle. This one is more see-through than this one. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make a swatch on 3.5, but this is post blocking. I will return after blocking. Hello and welcome to a cozy knitting corner. Until now you have seen a lot of vlog style videos and also me sharing my latest yarn purchases. Now I will show you the projects that I have been working on during August. August started out with the kids still on their summer holiday from school, and my little sister had placed her summer vacation a little late, so we went to visit her. She stayed a week in a little Danish island called Rømø, and we went to stay the last weekend together with them. And I brought sock knitting, of course, but I also brought my garter stitch blanket, and actually I got quite far on it already. It is a blanket like the Cozy Comfort Throw, but I did not buy the pattern. I just made a gauge swatch and cast on some stitches. I can't even remember how many now. That also doesn't matter. If you need a pattern, go buy the Cozy Comfort Throw by Molly, a homespun house. But I worked a lot of this on this in this summer house. In the weekend we visited my little sister and her two kids, and I just love garter stitch, and I think this until now is beautiful. The colors are matching well, yellow, pink, bluish colors. It's all made out of one thread of this super soft yarn from Holzgarn, and then out of scrap yarn, leftover yarn, all hand-dyed, fingering weight. I have a lot of different colors and also a lot of different sizes of the scrap yarn. But yeah, I started my August out knitting on this beautiful garter stitch blanket. I enjoy it so much. Let me put it down here again. I enjoy it so much because it's just back and forth garter stitch, no thinking, except for the next color. I am thinking a little bit. I'm not into just pulling out of the basket and make it be all, what is the word? I can't remember, but I want to plan a little with the colors. So a lot of August I have been knitting on that. I started working again, and I have not felt the need to work on my cardigan, so I did a little of the sleeve, but other than that I did not make it to the button band yet. But I have knitted a lot of socks, and also I have finished Professor Fungis, or Professor Fungi, a gnome by Schira. I have not completely finished him, you can see, because he has no basket in his hand and he has no feet. But other than that, I have finished him. I did not put a carbon or plastic in the button and in the hat. I just stuffed him, and I think he is so cute. I love gnome knitting, and I love the thought of me knitting all my sock yarn scraps into my future gnomes, because I will knit more. This one I have tried to do in the colors that Sarah has chosen for her gnome in the pattern. I started him while the mystery gnome along was going on, but I did not finish him during that period of time. So yeah, now he just needs his little basket. It is done, and he needs his feet. Oops. And then I will cast on a new gnome. As proof, well, it's not quite done, I can see, but a little basket. a little handle to the basket and 2 small feet in a little sock project bag. Then also during August, my friend Tina asked me if I could knit her son a pair of socks, and I have not a pair of socks. She asked if I could finish her son's pair of socks. She has knitted the first sock, and he has he did also wear the first sock, so it was a little bigger than the next one, and she was almost at the heel on the second sock, and then I took over and finished it. If I have a photo, I will put it in here now, but it is in rainbow sock yarn. And when I finished the first pair, I had a little more than 60 grams left. So, of course, I cast on a new pair, and I am this far on the first sock, on the second pair of socks. It's a vanilla sock, 1x1 rib. I think he's a size, European size 33. And I have here 54 stitches, I think. And I'm doing a shadow wrap heel. I'm almost always doing a shadow wrap heel. It's a heel where you turn with shadow wraps, double stitches and triple stitches. It's an easy way of doing a heel if you ask me. And it's a heel that I can remember, so that is why I always choose that one. And also I think it fits our feet in this house very well. So yeah, I'm making him a second pair of socks just because she has pain in her hands. She won't knit it. And I love to knit socks, and I have been knitting a lot of socks during August. But not only that pair, I have also been knitting on my office socks. I don't have them here because they are at my office. But then I got to cast on this pair of socks. I brought the yarn and the needles to Turkey on vacation. It's a 2.0 millimeter needle. And I usually, I usually knit all my socks on a 2.5 millimeter needle. And for my husband, I cast on 68 stitches for that on a 2.5. But then I bought this needle 2.0 and I tried to knit him a pair of socks with more stitches. So this sock is 72 stitches, and the fabric is denser. So maybe, and just maybe, I am hoping that they will last a little longer, because he is hard wearing his socks. Is it called that? He's wearing his socks hard. So yeah, again, not 1x1, but 2x2 ribbing for 20 rounds, I think. And then a 3x1 ribbing on the leg, a sheer wrap heel. And then I made the 3x1 ribbing also on the top of the foot and just stockinette on the bottom. But one sock is done. I finished it today. And today I also cast on the second sock. And I'm not very far, but I'm almost halfway through the ribbing. I'm counting the stitches with this little stitch counter with 10 small rings and pearls. And I'm knitting in this yarn. I assume it's German. Gründl Sockenwolle. I don't know what to call it. It's just a pattern out of my head, so it has no name. So I usually call it either something inspired from the color or just socks for Nego. But at first I thought this was mountain colors, but it's more ocean colors than mountain colors. So I don't know what I should call them, but I think it's a beautiful yarn. it's self-striping in a way. I love self-striping yarns. They are more fun to knit up than a solid color. I think when I have a solid color, I'm not motivated to keep on knitting. With self-striping or self-patterning, I just keep on knitting. I just want to see the next pattern or the next stripe. So yeah, a pair of socks for my husband Nikolai is on their way, and this time with a 2.0 millimeter needle, and I will try to see if I can tell a difference in the way he wears them, because he really uses them, and that's just so nice and so lovely. And I love knitting socks for people who uses them. Yeah, I can't remember if you did see my first office socks completely finished, but if you didn't, they are, and it is in this yarn from Hobby that is no longer being sold. It's a single ply, is it called that? I think so. And then it has these long color shifts. So not very self-patterning or self-striping, but very long color shifts. And I just love this kind of yarn. I think it's so beautiful. And my next pair of office socks is also in the same yarn, different colors. So this one is for my husband also. And the next one is for me. Yeah, let me put that back up here. And right there you can see this one is also for me. It's my summer sock. I did not make it to sewing up the toe. It is on. I just need to kitchen stitch the toe. But today my family was here visiting because my son, we were celebrating his birthday. He is turning 11, or he has turned 11. And then because next week is my birthday. So my mom also gave me my presents. And because they were there, I thought I would open them. I asked if it was okay, and she said, of course, yes. And one of the patterns, no. And one of the gifts was this self-striping yarn from a Danish shop called Ulstedet, and the yarn is called Glade Striber, which directly translates into happy stripes. And it's gonna be socks for my husband and maybe for my son in these happy stripes. So yeah, another sock yarn for my beautiful stash. I have a lot of that in stash, and it keeps growing. I also keep knitting, but yeah, maybe I knit slower than I buy or get yarn in my stash, but what? I don't care. Who cares? I don't. I love yarn, and I love buying yarn, and I love knitting, so it's a beautiful combo. Yeah, I don't have anything further to tell you. Maybe I will shoot a little footage for the next week. It's the last week of August, and then I will upload this video, and I hope you have enjoyed it so far. Please also give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and please share it with your friends and your knitting community. That would make me very happy. And you are also always more than welcome to subscribe to my channel. That of course also makes me very happy. And yeah, until next time, happy knitting! This is the swatch for a 4mm needle, and it's 10.5 centimeter. That is a little too much for this beautiful, it's not a sweatshirt. This one, it's not good. I think I'm going with this one and then recalculating a size I'm gonna knit. Yeah, but this is post-blocking. I told you some nonsense before because it was not post-blocking, it was of course pre-blocking. Me and my words. English is not my first language, and sometimes I make mistakes like that. I have no further August knitting to show you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it for you, and I will be back in September. Until next time, happy knitting!